Summary of the book: Stop Pleasing Others. The constant pursuit of pleasing others often reflects a denial of self, yet it is one of the most selfish behaviors. Pleasing people stems from fear, insecurity, and the need for approval, based on the sad belief that you are not enough and must elevate your value among others by meeting their needs and desires at your own expense. The feeling of obligation or coercion is complicated by the distorted belief that everyone is constantly watching and criticizing us, which is harmful for ordinary people, but even worse for those who seek to please others. This escalates their fear to new heights, leading to harmful behaviors. While pleasing others may yield the acceptance you seek, it is often short-lived and superficial, resulting in feelings of repression or injustice that can manifest as aggressive or passive behavior, or even jeopardize your overall health due to the overwhelming tasks you impose on yourself. Ultimately, you may find yourself trapped in distorted relationships, having placed yourself in a secondary role while always wearing a mask over your true self. There are several reasons behind the behavior of pleasing others, rooted in beliefs we hold about ourselves, often feeling inferior in some way. This drives us to adopt self-deceptive tactics to please people, reinforcing this desire. The main reasons can be categorized into 4 key causes. 1. Misconception of relationships. The belief that serving others should be your top priority, even at your own expense. Holding this belief makes you feel guilty if you act contrary to it. 2. Feelings of inferiority. If you do not feel equal in value to others or believe they will only accept you for who you are, you may feel your only option is to suppress your desires and follow others' whims. 3. Overemphasis on kindness. While kindness is a virtue, some take it too far, believing that prioritizing oneself is selfish and negative, leading them to always favor others' interests over their own. 4. Fear of confrontation. Many who strive to please others dislike tension and discomfort, doing everything possible to avoid these feelings, similar to someone who fears receiving a ticket and focuses solely on avoiding it. To overcome these tendencies, it is essential to reprogram your beliefs. The behavior of pleasing others often stems from deep-seated beliefs that require change, and cognitive behavioral therapy is a key element in altering these beliefs. You must also learn to be more selfish at times, as true self-care enables you to serve others effectively. Selfishness does not mean neglecting others. It means accepting and loving yourself. You should be compassionate towards yourself and understand that acceptance is a choice, often difficult due to the impossible standards and expectations you set for yourself. Assertiveness is not a negative trait and does not equate to aggression. Empathize with others to improve your assertiveness and creatively find win-win solutions in situations. Accept confrontation and learn to handle it better. A good way to overcome the fear of confrontation is through exposure therapy, where you create a hierarchy of fears related to confrontation. Facing these fears will help you get used to the tension and demonstrate that nothing catastrophic will happen. Unfortunately, over time, the behaviors of pleasing others can become habits or automatic responses. You may intend to act differently, but if your instincts push you to please, you cannot become assertive. Therefore, it is crucial to change some of these unconscious habits to break harmful patterns. Recognize why you engage in pleasing behaviors, and you will understand that you are not acting out of free will or generosity. This realization can come easily by asking yourself why 5 times in succession to uncover the motivations behind your actions. Build independence and free yourself from others' opinions and thoughts. Value your own opinions and ideas, and stop automatically subordinating yourself to others. Reduce and cease creating one-sided relationships where people depend on you, allowing them space to act independently. Leave your past behind. While it shapes your identity, you are not merely your experiences and memories. Recognize when you are acting out of past conditioning versus free will. Be strong under pressure. When you stop pleasing others, you will face some angry reactions. While it is not their fault for having raised their expectations, This is where you must not give in to pressure as you may have done in the past. It will only take 5 seconds of willpower, and it will become easier each time. Stop taking responsibility for others' feelings and happiness. Everyone is responsible for their own emotions and happiness. You do not need to be an emotional caretaker for anyone, especially if it harms you. Strong, clear boundaries are one of the best defenses against the urge to please others and those who may compel you to do so. These boundaries should not be overly flexible, allowing others to see no reason to adhere to them. Instead, you must clearly communicate and enforce them without exception. You need to clarify your boundaries by exploring your core and secondary values. This is how you can determine what you need to protect and what you can let go of. Then communicate these to others. Another key aspect is to visualize the consequences of someone violating your boundaries after you have communicated them. This part can be defined based on what you want, provided you take action rather than remain passive. Otherwise, it will lead to easily breached boundaries, which effectively means having no boundaries at all. However, be aware that these consequences cannot be overly rigid. Unfortunately, you will always receive some form of negative feedback regarding your boundaries, which is something you must be prepared for, though it will be challenging. People do not like to feel rejected, but this should reflect on them, not on you. Saying no is one of the hardest situations in daily life, as it is a small confrontation each time. However, there are many ways to make this aspect of life smoother and less stressful. Start by saying, "I don't do," instead of "I can't," as the former implies a personal policy, while the latter suggests something negotiable. Similarly, get used to saying no more broadly, as this also involves a policy of no exceptions. There are countless ways to say no. You likely already know a few, including the simplest "no" as a complete sentence. Understand that people will have strong reactions if you have a history of pleasing others. Other methods for saying no include planting preventive seeds by emphasizing your commitments to others and your inability to act independently all the time, as well as acknowledging that you cannot do everything at once. Resist the moment when you feel the urge to negotiate the matter,